businesses to navigate the digital world with confidence. Join Kiki Lomo Okere Global Television as she brings you happenings in Nigeria's security organizations.
Hello and welcome to Security Matters. It's a program that highlights the operational activities of the Nigerian military and its sister service. I am your host, Kike Lomo Okere. Troops of Operation Adinkai have uncovered a large cache of high-caliber ammunition in the Bulunkutum general area, further reinforcing the effectiveness of ongoing intelligence-driven security operation across the Northeast Theater of Operation. The recovery followed sustained troop presence and followed-up actions after recent cordon and search operations based on actionable intelligence aimed at denying criminal and terrorist element freedom of action, particularly in the aftermath of multiple suicide bombers neutralized within the past weeks. Let's take a look at the report.
About 3 p.m. on January 2nd, 2026, troops of OPHK received a distress call reporting the discovery of suspicious metallic objects concealed within a drainage channel in the Bulunkutu railway area. Troops, alongside police explosive ordnance disposal teams, immediately mobilized to the location to secure the environment and assess the threat. A thorough search of the area led to the recovery of 1,270 rounds of 12.7mm ammunition warheads, including some live 12.7mm rounds, as well as power banks concealed inside the drainage channel. Preliminary safety measures were promptly taken to secure the site, while efforts are ongoing to drain the channel to determine the presence of any additional dangerous items. Troops, in collaboration with the police and other security agencies, continue to dominate the general area to ensure the safety of residents, protect critical infrastructure, and prevent any attempt by criminal or terrorist elements to retrieve the recovered items. No casualties or untoward incidents were recorded during the operation. The general security situation in the area remains calm, with troops maintaining heightened vigilance in view of the dynamic threat environment. The successful recovery underscores the importance of intelligence-led operations, sustained military pressure, and community cooperation in preventing potential threats. It also highlights the critical role of timely information from members of the public in enhancing collective security.
In a related development, troops of Operation Adinkai have struck another decisive blow against terrorism in Borno State, successfully rescuing kidnapped civilians and neutralizing armed extremists. Let's take a look at the report.
Operation on the 4th January 2026, security forces working alongside the Civilian Joint Task Force engaged terrorists at a non-crossing along the Sojiri axis in Kodunga local government area. The operation resulted in the neutralization of 5 terrorists with no casualties among troops, showcasing the precision, professionalism, and combat readiness of the forces. 3 abducted civilians were rescued unharmed, while recovered items included AK-47 rifles and other weapons, further degrading terrorist capabilities in the area. The operation reinforces Operation Hadankai's unwavering commitment to protecting civilians, dismantling terrorist networks, and restoring lasting peace to the Northeast. Security forces continue to dominate the operational landscape, sending a clear message that terrorism will never find a foothold in the region. With every successful mission, Operation Hadankai proves that terror has no safe haven in Borno, as troops remain relentless in safeguarding lives and restoring stability.
Nigerian armed forces have intensified efforts to address evolving security threats across the country as troops continue to record major operational gains against terrorism, insurgency, kidnapping, oil theft, and other criminal activities. This was stated by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, during a high-level defense briefing in Abuja. Let's take a listen at the report. The military authorities reviewed the current threat environment, interagency collaboration, the resilience and professionalism of troops confronting complex and asymmetric security challenges nationwide in the year 2025. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, the review is aimed at strengthening strategic decision-making, improving operational effectiveness, and setting clear security priorities for the coming year. The military emphasized that its core mandate remains the protection of citizens and personnel, while also keeping the public informed about the ongoing operations and achievements across the theaters. Within the period under review, troops, in collaboration with other security stakeholders, neutralized several top terrorist commanders, their lieutenants, and foot soldiers. In addition, 4,375 suspected criminals were arrested, while 1,616 terrorists surrendered along with their families. The military also confirmed the successful rescue of 2,336 kidnapped victims across different operational zones.
Now, we also arrested 1,323 suspects alongside their collaborators, gun runners, sympathizers, and 1,616 terrorists surrendered to troops in the Operation Hadinkai area, while 498 kidnapped hostages were rescued. Troops also recovered various arms, ammunition, vehicles, equipment, and a cumulative sum of 32 million naira in cash. Furthermore, several terrorist camps and hibernation areas were destroyed. These actions significantly degraded the terrorist fighting capabilities, compelling them to surrender in large numbers and denying them freedom of action. Overall, troops' efforts in the Northeast have revitalized commercial and agricultural activities, facilitated the return of local authorities, and enabled internally displaced persons to resettle in their respective communities. Let me look at Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Fansanyama. This operation covers the states of Kaduna, Kano, Kebbi, Niger, Sokoto, and Zamfara, which is the northwest zone of Nigeria. The threats from that area include the Lakurawa terrorist group, Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists, armed banditry, kidnapping, and imposition of illegal levies on the local population by these groups. The terrorists have also exploited the porosity of the northern borders and the remoteness of the northwest flashpoints to conduct their operations. However, through a deep understanding of the terrorist modus operandi, troops implemented effective preventive measures to deter attacks on civilians and military formations in the region. Additionally, modern warfare equipment and intelligence aids, including mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles and other high-caliber weapons, have been integrated into our operations to enhance troops' combat effectiveness.
In the Niger Delta region, the director reveals that troops under Operation Delta Safe intensify action against oil theft and pipeline vandalism, significantly disrupting illegal activities and contributing to efforts aimed at boosting Nigerian crude oil production and safeguarding national assets. The briefing also provided an operational update on the 6th Defense Headquarters Joint Task Force in the Northeast, Operation Hadinkai, covering Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe State, continued to maintain relative stability in the region. The military, however, acknowledged that the remnants of Boko Haram and the Islamic State West African province still pose threats through isolated attacks, use of improvised explosive devices, and remote operations targeting civilians and security forces.
Neutralized several criminal elements, arrested 778 criminals and their cohorts, and rescued 53 kidnapped victims. They also foiled oil thefts valued at $8,918,647,206 naira, representing 16,623,542 liters of crude oil and 1,255,674 liters of automated gas oil, 407,734 liters of diesel, and 1,508,823 liters of premium motor spirit. Troops also destroyed 503 illegal refining sites while recovering assorted weapons and ammunition. Now to the Southeast Operation Udoka. As you know, the Southeast Operation Udoka covers the states of Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo. The security threat prevalent in the region remains the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, known as IPOB. Subsequently, and its Eastern Security Network. Crimes and other criminal activities have significantly decreased during the year following troops' intensified operations across the southeastern states, as well as the recent court rulings against their leader, Simon Ekpa, who was jailed by the government of the Republic of Finland, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Abuja. These developments have substantially degraded the group's capabilities. Furthermore, the extremists preyed on lightly manned checkpoints and outposts, killing security personnel to cut away their weapons for use in terror activities. It was also discovered that they primed and planted locally fabricated improvised explosive devices around troops' locations to inflict casualties on own forces, while fortifying their camps and enclaves with these improvised explosive devices to deter troops' entry. However, troops uncovered the group's strategies, leading to the deployment of additional manpower, military platforms, and combat equipment in the area. Accordingly, troops' operations have largely curtailed the activities of the group through a series of intelligence-based operations aimed at dislocating their influential organizers and fighters. This approach by the armed forces forced the group to relocate to the hinterlands to evade the troops' onslaught. During the year, troops of Operation Udoka neutralized scores of terrorists, arrested 324 suspects, and rescued over 64 kidnapped persons. Weapons and ammunition were also recovered from them. In conclusion, the Defense Secretary is acutely aware of terrorist factions who are currently relocating to communities in response to military pressure carried out on terrorist locations. The purported influx of armed headers into certain communities is also being viewed seriously, and operational planning is going on to curtail their activities. Intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets are actively monitoring terrorist movements across various operational theaters. Several movements have also been identified and are presently being tracked. Communities are all to maintain their composure, to remain vigilant, and cooperate with security agencies. Citizens are also encouraged to promptly report any suspicious movements or activities to the nearest security agencies' formations.
That was the Director of Defense Media Operation, Major General Michael Onoja, giving the gains recorded against terrorism and oil theft in different theater of operation in Nigeria. All right, moving ahead, Operation Adinkai says it has made a major breakthrough in its sustained counter-terrorism operations within the identification of Sharif Umar as the principal coordinator of suicide bombing activities responsible for recent attacks and attempted attacks within the Northeast. Let's take a listen at the report.
This development followed intelligence-led cordon and search operations conducted at the Kalmari area of Maiduguri on 31st December 2025, during which 14 suspects linked to suicide bombing activities were arrested. Subsequent detailed identification and investigative processes established the structure, roles, and operational linkages of the terror cell. During the investigation, a suspected suicide bomber currently in custody, Ibrahim Mohammed, unequivocally identified Sharif Umar, also known as Yusuf, as the ringleader and coordinator of the terror network. According to consistent and collaborated statements, Sharif Umar was responsible for recruiting, preparing, directing, and dispatching suicide bombers to assigned targets, as well as coordinating logistics and delivery of improvised explosive device components. Investigations further revealed that Sharif Umar directly coordinated the suicide bombing attack at the Gamboro Market Mosque on 24th December 2025, during which his accomplice Adamu, now deceased, detonated a suicide vest. He was also identified as the coordinator of the foil suicide bombing attempt in Damaturu, personally handing over IED components to the suicide bomber in Maiduguri. Additional links within the network were established, including the involvement of Sharif Umar's wife, Yangana Modu, and confirmation by his stepdaughter, Amina, who admitted to previously seeing the suspect bomber within their residence. These findings significantly strengthened the investigative trail and exposed the domestic and community-based concealment methods employed by terrorist facilitators. All suspects remain firmly in custody and are undergoing intensive, multi-layer investigations aimed at fully dismantling the network, identifying additional collaborators, and recovering any remaining explosives or logistical assets. OPHK underscores that this success once again highlights the critical importance of effective collaboration between security forces and the civil populace. Terrorist networks often survive by hiding within communities, exploiting silence, fear, or misplaced loyalty. Timely information from law-abiding citizens remains one of the most powerful tools in preventing attacks and saving innocent lives. Members of the public are therefore strongly urged to remain vigilant and report suspicious presence, movements, or activities to security agencies. Cooperation and trust between troops of OPHK and local communities are essential to completely rooting out terrorism and restoring lasting peace across the region.
We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll give you more stories in the theaters of operation. Stay with us, don't go away.
Introducing Security Matters. It's a program that provides a robust and reliable security solution that empowers individuals and businesses to navigate the digital world with confidence. Join Kikia Lomo Global Television as she brings you happenings in Nigeria's security organizations.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Security Matters on Global Television. It's a program that highlights the operational activities of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Troops of 63 Brigade Sector 1 Joint Task Force, South-South Operation Delta Safe, have successfully busted a criminal gangs and recovered arms and ammunition in Oshimili North Local Government Area of Delta State. The operation led to the arrest of 2 suspected criminals alleged to be members of notorious cult group in the area. The arrest was effected following credible intelligence on nefarious activities of the criminal gang in a recent operation conducted around Ubusa. Let's take a listen at the report.
During the operation, several weapons were recovered, including 2 pump-action rifles recovered from the criminals, as well as additional 3 pump-action rifles recovered from purported local vigilantes. The suspects and weapons recovered have been handed over to the relevant agencies for further investigations. Furthermore, in a follow-up operation conducted, the area was combed, which led to the recovery of additional 8 pump-action rifles at Umuasiagba. 13 suspects, including Nwokonta Elvis, Obi Victor Nwoke, Oba Elijah, Nonso Ibiora, Dumbili Ezefili, Ndefu Ifeanyi, Ozemena Richard, Broderick Patrick, Nwokonta Afamefile, Kelvin Ejani, Victor Ogochukwu, Ogadi, Kelvin Ikechukwu, and Ndubisi Obi Ogonna, native doctor. Meanwhile, the Commander 63 Brigade Brigadier General M.A. Shonibare, while commending troops for their vigilance, charged them to clamp down